She thought her best friend was living the perfect life. A rich husband, big cars, a beautiful house, until jealousy pushed her to take her friend's place. And she learned too late the dark secret her friend had been hiding. Sandra and Anita grew up as true childhood friends. They shared one life in two bodies. They lived in the same noisy compound in Surler, Lagos. They ran barefoot between buckets of water and plaited each other's hair every Saturday morning. Sandra was calm and gentle. She spoke carefully and stayed patient, even when life was hard. Anita was fire, loud, dramatic, full of big dreams that were bigger than the street they grew up on. She always wanted more. She loved attention and dreamed of a rich future. But no matter how different they were, they moved like sisters. If you saw Anita, Sandra was never far. If Sandra cried, Anita fought for her. If Anita failed a test, Sandra stayed up all night helping her study. Their mothers would smile and say, "These two." They were born in different houses, but raised by one heart. Growing up did not change them. At night, under the slow ceiling fan, they whispered their dreams to each other. Sandra wanted a simple life. A small business, a peaceful home, a man who loved her truly. Anita wanted everything. A big house, expensive cars, a rich husband, trips outside Nigeria. Still, they held on to each other tightly. By their final year in university, Sandra started catering small events to support herself. That was how she met Victor, a handsome and well-dressed businessman who ordered food for a corporate event. He praised her food, then her smile, then her kindness. Before Sandra understood what was happening, she was in love. Victor was everything she prayed for. Calm, respectful, kind, focused. He brought her lunch without warning, helped her carry heavy trays, waited after class so she would not walk home alone. Sandra truly believed God had answered her prayers. When she introduced Victor to Anita, Anita hugged her happily. Finally, our Sandra has found love. And at that time she meant it. But when Victor proposed months after graduation, something small changed inside Anita. Victor planned a beautiful proposal. Candles filled a restaurant in Victoria Island. Roses covered the table. A silver ring shined under the lights. Their wedding became the talk of Lagos. Elegant, classy, full of love. Sandra wore a gown that looked like it came from a magazine. Victor stood proudly beside her. Guests whispered, "Sandra has entered enjoyment." Anita stood as maid of honor, smiling brightly for pictures. But deep inside her chest, something tight formed. Not hatred, just longing. After the wedding, Sandra moved into Victor's mansion. It was a white duplex with shiny floors, wide windows, and luxury cars parked outside like trophies. When Anita visited for the first time, she was shocked. This was the life she had always dreamed of. Sandra welcomed her with a bright smile. She showed her the living room, the modern kitchen, and the walk-in closet filled with gold jewelry and foreign perfumes. Anita hugged her friend tightly, but inside she thought, this should have been my life. At first, Sandra believed her marriage would be peaceful. Victor treated her kindly in the beginning. He spoke softly and acted caring. But slowly, things started to change. It began with the nights he did not come home. Sandra waited in the living room, her food growing cold, her eyes fixed on the clock. When Victor finally returned late at night, he smelled of alcohol and strange perfume. When she asked gently, "Where were you?" his face hardened. One night when she said, "You didn't pick my calls," he slapped her. She froze. Then he apologized, bought her gifts, and did it again. That became the pattern of their marriage. Victor hurt her. Then said sorry, then covered the pain with money. Sandra wanted to tell someone, her mother, her sister, even Anita. But shame closed her mouth. Everyone admired her marriage. People called her lucky. How could she tell them the truth? So she learned to hide. Makeup covered the bruises on her face. Long sleeves hid the marks on her arms. She smiled online while crying alone at night. Everyone believed she was happy, especially Anita. Each time Anita visited, she admired the house, the money, and the lifestyle. Victor greeted her politely. Sandra smiled, hiding the pain in her body. Anita did not know the truth. Slowly, admiration turned into envy. At night, Anita lay awake thinking Sandra has everything. A mansion, cars, a rich husband, she told herself. If that man were mine, I would never complain. I would treat him like gold. The envy grew stronger. Anita began dressing better when she visited. She laughed loudly around Victor and praised him for everything. You are such a good husband, she said often. Any woman would be lucky to have you. But Victor never wanted her. He barely noticed her. That rejection hurt more than she expected. And slowly, Anita's envy turned dangerous. Anita could not stop thinking about Victor. Her envy filled her heart and pushed away her fear. She wanted Sandra's life, the house, the cars, the name Madame Victor. Finally, Anita crossed a line she never thought she would cross. She visited an herbalist, a man known for dark spiritual works, the kind of works that break homes and bind lives together. The herbalist looked at her quietly and asked, "Why have you come?" Anita swallowed hard and said, "I want Victor. I want him to leave his wife and love only me." The herbalist studied her face for a long moment. Then he spoke slowly. "This work is dangerous," he said. "If I do it, you must never leave him. Even if he hurts you, even if he destroys you. Once it is done, it cannot be undone." Anita felt fear touch her heart, but jealousy spoke louder. "Do it," she said. "I am not afraid." The herbalist sighed and began the ritual. He tied strange threads together. He spoke words Anita did not understand. He called Victor's name again and again. When it was finished, he warned her one last time. "Once this charm is cast, your life will be tied to his." Anita nodded. The charm was cast. Things changed quickly. Victor became cold towards Sandra. He stopped coming home. He stopped speaking kindly. One morning, without warning, he told her, "Leave my house." Sandra was shocked. She begged him to explain. He did not listen. He threw her bags outside and shut the door. Sandra returned to her mother's house broken and ashamed. She still did not tell anyone the truth. Anita waited for Victor's call. When it came, it was not gentle. "Come to my house," he said. Anita believed the charm had worked. Within a short time, Victor married her. She entered the mansion as the new wife. But the charm did not bring love. The first beating came quickly. Victor hit her for asking questions, for speaking, for breathing too loudly. There were no gifts, no apologies, only pain. Anita cried and told herself it would get better. But it did not. The beatings grew worse. One night, shaking and bleeding, Anita ran back to the herbalist. "Please undo it," she cried. The herbalist shook his head. "I warned you," he said. "It cannot be undone." Anita's world fell apart. For the first time, she understood the truth. She had not stolen Sandra's blessings. She had stolen her suffering. Broken and shaking, Anita left the herbalist's place. Her body was covered in pain, but her heart hurt even more. She knew where she had to go. Sandra had moved into a small room and returned to her catering work. She no longer lived in luxury, but she had peace. When Anita reached Sandra's door, she fell to her knees. "Sandra, please forgive me," she cried. "I did charms. I took your husband. I wanted your life." Sandra stood in silence. Anita showed her the bruises on her body. "He beats me every day," she whispered. Sandra helped her stand. After a long pause, Sandra said softly, "I forgive you." Anita cried harder, but Sandra continued, "We can never be friends again." Those words cut deeper than any slap. Sandra turned and went inside. She did not look back. Anita returned to Victor's house because she had no choice. The charm tied her to him like a chain. She became a prisoner in the life she once admired. Victor treated her like nothing. He shamed her in front of others. He beat her without care. The mansion became a cage. While Anita suffered, Sandra healed. She worked hard. She rebuilt her life quietly. She found peace in her freedom. And Anita learned the truth too late. Peace is the real luxury. Jealousy always demands payment. Not every smile is happiness. Not every rich home has peace. If this story touched your heart, take a moment to reflect. Thank you for supporting this channel. Let's keep growing together.